All right, welcome back to the shop. I appreciate you for joining me as I work on my dirt bike. In this video, I'm installing the cylinder, which means I need to set my deck height. So I've picked up this Tusk 250cc timing tool, and that's going to help me to select the correct gaskets and dial in that X measurement / deck height. I've removed the piston rings off of the piston just to make it easier to work. And I made this tool. It's just a replica of what you can buy online. It's going to help me torque down the cylinder, especially in these little spots at the side where these nuts are. So I'll get into that a little bit later. And yeah, here we go. So the first thing I got to do is put some oil, just some 2-stroke oil, primarily on the piston, but I'll put a little bit in the cylinder as well. So my X distance needs to be between 0 and 0.1 of a millimeter. I've selected 2 feeler gauges, 0.076 and 0.038 of a millimeter. Now I think it's important to verify these thicknesses because I've noticed in my little feeler gauge set that not all of them are as accurate as they say. So this one is the 0.076 and I read 0.07, so that's fine. Then our next one, which says it's 0.038, 0.04, so that's good. So if either of those work with this timing tool, then I can be happy. Now, fast forwarding a little bit, I've tried this gasket. This is a 0.3, and for this piston that's on the bike, the new piston, this is too small. So I'm going to move up to this gray gasket. Fortunately, I have 2 of each, and this one is 0.5 millimeters. Let's put this on the bike and see what it looks like once the nuts are all torqued down. That's also something that I think is important to get the most accurate reading. Now, before I start putting this cylinder on and taking it off, I'm going to remove this screw because it's getting in the way. It's getting hung up on the rubber coolant hose. Right, so those are all torqued down. Now, granted, this is a homemade tool, so before I tighten these to their exact torque spec, I made sure that it was in fact producing the same amount of torque at the box end compared to from the torque wrench itself. And so it's the same, it's reliable. It's a 13 millimeter box end wrench that I cut in half and welded a 13 millimeter socket to. The idea is that when torque is applied at a 90-degree angle, it's the same as it would be at the head. So those are all tight now. I'm going to get my Tusk timing tool. Little thing about this, an added feature is it has this Z measurement notch. So like in the video where I was talking about the power valve, you can use this to set your flap to the 48 millimeters from the top of your cylinder. And I'm going to be using this for doing that in the future because it's quite a lot easier than using the calipers. So checking that this is at top dead center. So my .076 feeler gauge doesn't want to go through all the way. Let's try my .038. So same thing. Doesn't want to go through, and I don't have enough space because it's pushing my timing tool up. My next step is to stack these .3s because that'll get me to a .6. Yeah, 0.6. So taking that off, I'm starting that process over again. It's not going through. I can just very faintly feel the top of the piston pushing it up, and I can kind of see it lifting off of the cylinder. So I think that's too tight, and we'll have to go up to the next gasket, which is a .7, I think, 0.8. Kind of hovering around 0.77. Let's try this again. Okay, first starting out with the .038 millimeter feeler gauge. Slides in no problem. Moving up to .076, also no problem. Go up again to 0.1. So this is the max based off of what the manual says, and it also slides in no problem. I want to keep going just to see what the actual space is. So this is a 0.11. Slides in no problem. Again, checking with my calipers. This is saying 0.13. That's pretty snug. Like I can start to feel the friction. And now we're going up to 0.152, checking, yep, that's good. That doesn't fit. So I'm looking at a deck height or X measurement of 0.13, which is bigger than the specified deck height from the manual, which kind of begs the question, how crucial is this, because I don't really have any other options. If I go any lower, then it's too small, then I don't have any room. And kind of understanding the basics about these engines, a little bit more space is better than not enough. I don't want to cause any detonation or engine knocking, but I know that having a bigger deck height or X measurement could translate to loss of compression. But you know, how crucial is this? I'd be curious to know if any of you watching might have any experience with this, and if I can expect anything super noticeable going forward, or if this is pretty common. So I'll go ahead and put the rings back on the piston. The rings are on with the end facing up, so those are in the correct position. Final fit up, and this is potentially going to be tricky. I'll use this screwdriver to help me fit the piston rings into the grooves, and making sure that the gaps are in the correct position, being on either side of the ring stop. So I've got cylinder down over the piston and the rings, but I'm going to cycle it a couple times to be sure it feels right. So that's working smoothly. So I'll torque the nuts down. I'll put this flange screw back in, and I'll put the head on. I need 2 O-rings. Very important that these seat properly and don't get pinched. That one looks good. The outer one is not seating quite right. That looks better. Okay, and I need to put the studs in the cylinder. There's one. And number 2. Okay, that looks good. So these all get torqued down to 27 Newton meters. I'll work up to it gradually. Oh, there's one. Always going in a crisscross pattern. Go around another time to make sure they're all tight. Looks good. Okay. Now I can put the power valve covers on, and I'll put this guy back on. What I'll start doing is marking all my fasteners so that if they ever start to loosen off, I'll know. At this point I can put the power valve covers back on, and I have new gaskets. So this one gets tucked in here. Okay, so it's a lot easier just to slide it in. So my base gasket is sitting out a little bit and making this gasket sit up high. So I'm just going to take some scissors and trim this a little bit so that it'll sit down. There, that's much better. So this linkage goes back on. Before I pull that clip off, I want to put a piece of towel in there so it doesn't want to fall down. Okay, got the pin off. So the thing to remember about this linkage is that it can only have up to 1 millimeter of play, but it doesn't have any play, which is good. It feels tight. I think the rotational play is fine, but up and down it can only have up to 1 millimeter, and the flap has to be all the way down, which it is. So it just clips on. I think this is fine. I don't need to do any further adjusting, and I can put this little pin back in. Just like that. Okay, so that cover is ready to go on. All 6 of these, the 3 on both sides, both power valve covers, just get 5 Newton meters of torque. So that'll be all for this video, now that the top end is essentially done. Coming up, I'll be tackling the front brake and the starter system. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again for watching, and we'll catch you next time.